We have multiple Toronto Maple Leafs updates to go over today as Jake McCabe got injured in yesterday's game. We have an update from his front regarding his status, so stay tuned for that in this episode, as well as a few interesting details surrounding Auston Matthews and Max Domi following his interesting hit in yesterday's game. Stay tuned for all that in this episode. But before we get into it, folks, quick reminder, hit that subscribe button. If you're a part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Leafs content. And thank you guys for your continued support. And thank you guys for your support in yesterday's live stream. It was probably the craziest one of the year thus far. So or of the season, I should say, because the year's only 6 days old. But thank you guys again for your continued support. But Darius, there's a lot to go over today. And there's they played back-to-back games. They have a game tomorrow. A lot of things are happening regarding them playing. We have an update surrounding Jake McCabe. Now, he got injured in yesterday's game following a fight, and he's expected to undergo further evaluation to determine the extent of his injury, with the suspicion being concussion-related after his head hit the ice during the fight with Hathaway. If Craig Berube provides an update today, McCabe will likely be listed as day-to-day while more testing is conducted. It may take a few days before a clear diagnosis and timeline for his return are confirmed. And we all think that, signs are pointing to him hopefully being okay, but again, I think the Leafs aren't skating today, at least as of the time of recording, so we might not get an update until tomorrow afternoon during their skate before the game against the Flyers once again. But regardless, it seems to be, I'm a little bit concerned about this, but they do have, some good depth there in the blue line.
Yeah, they've definitely shored up their defense this season. So if he does miss time, I think they'll be okay. But it doesn't look too good. This doesn't look too promising, especially because of the fact that there is no immediate update. So they're going to have to see how he progresses over the course of, I guess, today and tomorrow. They'll continue to do tests. At this point, he is still just day to day. And that's really the update at this point. There is no update besides they're going to continue to evaluate him and see where he's at and if he can play, right? We saw him go out just a couple weeks ago in that game against the Tampa Bay Lightning with a head injury similar to this. Maybe not similar, but the same type of injury, a head injury. So it's looking like it could be a concussion. He didn't look great on the ice when it happened, right? Obviously, Hathaway fell on him. It looked like, his knee fell on him. I don't think he kneed him in the head or anything malicious like that. Obviously, they were fighting, but I don't think Hathaway did anything malicious in that way. But it's a tough play. It looked like he smacked his head off the ice, and he didn't look good there for a minute and obviously left the game, which I think was more so probably precautionary. But again, if he has a concussion at this point, he's going to miss some time. So, it's unfortunate for the Leafs. He's been such a big part of this team, whether it be on the defensive end of the puck. Obviously, he scored his first goal of the season against the Boston Bruins the other night. And not just that, but jumping in for his teammates. We've seen it a lot this season, something that the Leafs have needed more of, and he's doing that this season. So, love that for him. Did it last night, but an unfortunate play. It looks like he might be out for a bit, but I'm sure we'll get some confirmation tomorrow morning exactly what his status is.
Yeah, at least actually one positive is there's not a huge negative update out today surrounding him
Yep.
being out for a long period of time like we have seen in the past. But we'll keep you up to date with that. I think hopefully if he is out from a concussion, it's only for a short period of time. But again, we'll keep you up to date with that. And he's been having a great season. He obviously signed that contract and he's going to be a bargain, and fans have been considering this a great deal already, especially as his game is kind of catered even more towards the playoffs and when that comes around. So we'll be excited to see how he performs then. But speaking of some other things, is Craig Berube spoke out on Dennis Hildeby's 30-save performance, and obviously we talked about it in our stream yesterday. Probably Dennis Hildeby's best game of his NHL career. A very solid game, very good. I thought he was a big part of the win. He made some key saves and a couple key saves in OT. He was pretty calm and cool in there. Played the puck well. He looked good. He looked solid. And this is interesting because we thought that they were going to be, well, we knew they were going to rock and Hilderby yesterday, but Matt Murray was the guy that was supposed to be in that role for the foreseeable future while Anthony Solars is out. But after a couple rough games from him, they decided to go with Dennis Hilderby. And after this performance, it seems all signs are pointing to Dennis Hilderby being the guy going forward, at least for the next week or two. And as Anthony Solars prepares for his return, hopefully towards the end of this month and towards obviously, mid-February, he looked very good, and this helped calm down some Leafs fans because I personally was a little bit concerned about that the backup goaltender behind Joseph Wall, who has looked good as of late.
It was looking a little bit concerning there for a little bit. But again, after last night's performance, that's a good game. That's a good game to get settled into because it did not start good. He let in a bad goal to start the game. But after that, the second goal that the Flyers scored wasn't his fault. And he made some big saves after that. Got some help from his defense as well. But he's progressed well, right? It looks like he's gaining a little bit more confidence at the NHL level. Matt Murray, is doing his thing at the AHL level, but it is what it is with this now. And I guess they decided, they're going to go with Dennis Hildeby for the foreseeable future until Anthony Stolarz comes back, which should be at the end of this month, which was the best case scenario that they gave us. Again, so it looks like, there is no setback there and he should be back soon. But Dennis Hildeby has been playing great. And the Leafs don't play another back-to-back after a month full of back-to-backs until March 3rd. So I would assume Joseph Woll is going to have a very heavy workload, but I guess it depends on the game and who they're playing. I'm sure we'll see Dennis Hildeby at some point this month, but I think we're going to be seeing a lot more Joseph Woll than Dennis Hildeby down the stretch here until obviously Stolarz returns.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of Joseph Woll, and I think they're going to give, like you mentioned, Dennis Hildeby some action as well. And Craig Berube spoke out on the team's ability to grind out the 2 points. I mean, yesterday was a fantastic win, and in the third period, we came out and gave up one scoring chance at 5-on-5. That's just really good hockey by us. I thought it was a gutsy win. Philly is hard to play against. They are quick, they are fast, they play hard, and they had legs. It was a difficult game for us. And Craig Berube will be the first one to call out the team when they play bad, but it's also good to see him praise the team when they play good. And yesterday was just a phenomenal win from everybody from top to bottom. And it obviously started with Dennis Hildeby and being able to have, especially as a young goaltender, being able to bounce back after a really weak goal early in the game, the first period, is obviously great. And he said it wasn't time for him to invite his own mentor for this week's road trip. I'm my own mentor. And I'm excited to see what he continues to do. And you can see this here, Craig Berube and Auston Matthews bring in Joe Thornton as his mentor. It's great to see him, special player, obviously, and a great player in the league for a long time. He is pretty close to a lot of our guys. It's great to have him with us. And in his 2 games since returning from injury, Darius, he's been on fire. A goal, 5 assists, 8 shots on goal. He saw his ice time creep up yesterday after his season low 17 minutes in the game a couple days ago on Saturday. So he's playing really well. He's elevating his teammates, and a couple wins can be not solely attributed to him by any means, because Matthew Knies has been taking over as well. But it's crazy how much better Matthew Knies plays when Auston Matthews is his line mate.
Yeah, I mean, he elevates players like Matthew Knies, and I think Matthew Knies is a great complement piece to players like Auston Matthews, so it just works out that way. But like you see here, the stats the last 2 games were fantastic. The physical play is something that stood out to me because clearly he's still dealing with an injury, right? And he came out and said, we all know he's not 100%. As fans, we would like him to be 100%, but I'm not sure if that's possible this season. But I thought it was very interesting that, Friday and Saturday he comes out and he says, you know what, I'm playing, and I'm playing both of these games back to back, and I'm the captain here. I'm going to, lead by example. I'm going to get into these games, even though I'm not 100%, but obviously not a detriment to his team either, right? Like he was a really, really good positive out or source this weekend for points. So had a great weekend. Obviously, Matthew Knies doing his thing. So Auston Matthews, he looks good. He looks good, and I think that's a good thing for Leafs fans.
Great stretch for Toronto Maple Leafs hockey as they are now atop the Atlantic Division, up 4 points on the Panthers. Granted, they have 1 game in hand on them, but at the very least, they'll be up 2 points. And they've also created a lot of space between the other teams here. I mean, you can see the Bruins, the Lightning, the games played are very, very different. I mean, you see the Lightning played 37 games, the Leafs have played 41 games. So it's a good time to be a Leafs fan. I mean, ultimately, they're up, and they're if they can continue to win, they can maintain this. Quick note on Mac Domi, he's also been fined $5,000, which is the maximum allowable under the CBA. So no suspension for him, but they did get a fine like we predicted in yesterday's stream. But that'll wrap it up. We'll keep you up to date with all the latest news surrounding injuries and everything like that, and we will be live following tomorrow's games. Make sure to tune to that. We'll also, of course, have a video tomorrow, so we'll see you guys then. Thank you guys for watching.